So imagine a government app where you can essentially swipe left on your neighbor's welfare check. Welcome to today's deep dive, where we're looking at a fascinating report from Litbang Bangsa on Indonesia's Cek Bansos app, which literally translates to check social assistance. Our mission today is to really see what happens when data-driven tech collides with, complex human behavior.
Yeah, it acts exactly like that dating app analogy. Through the app's Sangha or contest feature, you are, well, essentially downvoting someone's poverty status.
Right. But unlike a dating app, swiping left here actually initiates a real-world government audit. I mean, think about how that would play out for you in your own neighborhood.
It's intense. But to understand why a government would build a crowdsourced policing tool like this, we first have to look at the massive scale of the targeting errors they were trying to
It's
fix.
were staggering.
Oh, absolutely. Back in 2025, the system was just deeply flawed. You had like 1.9 million comfortable families receiving aid they didn't need. Meanwhile, 2.8 million of the absolute poorest citizens were getting nothing at all.
Wow, so the app was designed to crowdsource the fix.
Exactly. They introduced two main features. There's Usul to nominate a family in need, and Sangha to contest someone who, shouldn't be receiving funds.
The whole pitch is that citizens can anonymously report this fraud, but a digital report isn't really anonymous when a uniformed field officer shows up at the neighbor's door the very next day.
Right. And in a small hamlet of maybe a few hundred families, the arrival of that officer right after a known neighborhood dispute communicates everything. So the barrier to reporting isn't technical at all. It's communal fear.
I have to push back on this whole tech utopian vision, though, because doesn't this hyper-digitalization actually punish the exact people it claims to protect?
How do you mean?
Well, if a single transposed digit on an ID card cuts off a family's aid, that's devastating. The absolute poorest are the ones who often lack smartphones or, stable internet and pristine documentation.
That's a great point. That digital fragility exposes a core systemic vulnerability, and it extends straight from local village politics all the way to national cybersecurity.
Wait, I thought the app was supposed to bypass local bureaucracy entirely.
It was supposed to, but village officials remain massive choke points.
So if it's an automated digital queue, how are local officials still acting as bottlenecks?
Well, they lose the literal delete button, but they still hold the keys to the verification dashboard. By simply ignoring an alert or leaving a file labeled as pending on their screen, an official can effectively bury a politically inconvenient family in a digital waiting room indefinitely.
Oh, I see. So one queue is allowed to lengthen while another magically advances. The human bottleneck is entirely intact.
Exactly. And to supposedly combat this local fraud, the system now requires an intense amount of data from the users themselves. They demand facial scanning, live selfies, and geolocated home photos.
Wait, really? By demanding all that biometric data, hasn't the system just created, like, the ultimate centralized shopping list for identity thieves?
Yeah, and given Indonesia's recent track record with data protection, that's the real threat. There have been massive breaches affecting taxpayer records and student data.
Right, like that recent Bali black market case.
Exactly. In that case, a perpetrator paid just 25 million rupiah, which is less than 2,000 US dollars, to acquire 300,000 national identity numbers. So by demanding live selfies and geolocated photos just to verify welfare status, the system is concentrating the most sensitive category of data in one highly vulnerable place.
Which means this isn't just about whether a neighbor gets their aid today. The real cost is the data they had to surrender just to get in line.
Yeah, the ultimate takeaway from the Litbang Bangsa report is that an elegant interface cannot fix structural human flaws.
Right, an app simply cannot overrule the people who walk the final 100 meters. The reform is judged by whether the excluded family gets help, not the sleek software. So for you listening, here's a final thought to mull over. To access basic survival funds, the poorest citizens are forced to upload their most sensitive biometric data, while statutory data protection remains largely theoretical. Are a nation's most vulnerable people unwittingly being used as non-consenting beta testers for government cybersecurity? You might be able to swipe left on a neighbor, but you can't swipe away a systemic data breach.